So my story is about how disabilities are actually kind of our greatest advantages, because having a disability can create obstacles that build character, and a great character makes a great story. So my story begins actually with my earliest memories when my mom would tell me stories about her family. My grandpa, her father, was born in Cuba. He was dyslexic and in a rural family, and despite all that, he was able to rise up to become one of the top doctors in Havana. My mother's mother, my grandmother, was also born in Cuba, and she would tell me stories about when she was pregnant with my mom, how the communist regime would try to have her sign away her rights at gunpoint, and she refused. Stories of how her family was separated to flee a communist country, and how they came to America and rose from rags to riches.
Josh, sorry to interrupt, but this is your grandmother?
That's the two.
And your grandfather.
Welcome. The king and queen, they got the thrones and everything. So these stories were a major impact when I was growing up. They gave me hope. I grew up with ADHD, dyslexia, dysgraphia, and obese the majority of my childhood. And despite all that, all the hope that I was able to get, it didn't make anything easier, actually. On a daily basis, I had to work twice as hard just to keep up, and I was called fat, retarded, you name it. The years were tough. They were hard, but I was able to get through it. But despite all that, I was able to be an average student by high school, which for me was the majority of my goals. But that changed, actually. My first Saturday night, my senior year, all my buddies, we went out to go to a party, have some fun, and I remember all the guys having literally the time of their lives. And I remember standing in the corner. It's very vivid, and I remember feeling so unfulfilled. I'd worked so hard just to be normal, and the reward, it didn't match up. So that night I decided to, take a left turn on my own story and be myself. Since I was a kid, I would spend my days in the garage of my parents and just let my mind run wild and have any idea and be able to bring it into reality. That was very important to me and very fulfilling. So I set up a new goal, not to be average, not to meet up to the standards of everybody else, but to make something great. My first project on that was actually that project right there. It was to build a custom motorcycle by the time I graduated high school, 9 months. My parents, everybody, they thought it was crazy, taking on such a big project in such a little time. But rather than going out with my buddies, love them to death, but I spent every night riding away in their garage. And even though it was a crazy aspiration, I had actually been preparing myself for that for years that I didn't even realize. You see, grit's a muscle. The more you train it, the more you can endure. So all those years working twice as hard just to keep up cultivated this massive grit that was able to pursue the crazy. And I was able to finish that bike by high school. That bike not only got me to be the youngest builder at the Handbook Motorcycle Show in Austin in 2018, but also got me started on my career path as an industrial designer at the University of Houston. I actually had tried to be an engineer, but I didn't get to any colleges. But I was able to go to that school, and my garage turned into my classroom, and my expectation was no longer just to try to be an average student, to be an exceptional one. And I was able to cultivate good friends and a broader perspective while letting my mind just run wild and really vision as much as possible and learn a lot there. Around the room are just some of the projects that we're able to cultivate from that chapter of my life. And each project that I spent there became more and more fulfilling because each project impacted others deeper and deeper. So from projects resulting from the Stingray right there, which is just a bicycle, cantilever bicycle made out of sheet metal, to 2.5, which is a air pollution mask that protects, rejects out information of air pollution levels, to Veo, the cool mirror Mike was talking about, where it vertically augments an outline around the body. It's a smart mirror designed to help people with eating disorders and also split the dichotomy between what is health and what is beauty. There's a difference, big difference. And
the mirror can make us slimmer?
The mirror says you're beautiful. You don't have to look like Brad Pitt.
Fine.
Yeah. And then lastly, Maya, which is an electric motorcycle that's built to be modular. Maya is the culmination of what that bike started and what the character development ended in. But despite all that, all of these projects, none of them would have been possible if it wasn't for the extreme amount of adversity put in front of my family, put in front of me. Adversity is what makes a great character, is the foundation to a great story. Great characters create great stories, which can inspire, be passed down, and live forever. A legacy I hope to leave one day. And the legacy that my family left for me. I want to thank you all. I want to talk more. And just thank you. God bless.
Thank you.
Thank you.